What if the strongest don't always win? What if sometimes the mightiest fall because they're trapped, not by chains, but by their own minds? The Titans weren't just overthrown by force. They were outmaneuvered, outsmarted, and undone by darkness inside themselves. And here's the twist. Their story might just be our story too.
Have you ever watched a family argument spiral out of control? Maybe it's two siblings fighting over the TV remote. Maybe it's a parent who just won't budge no matter how much you plead. It's funny, sometimes the person who wins isn't the loudest or the strongest. It's the one who listens, who waits, who notices everyone's weak spots. That's exactly what happened on a cosmic scale. The Titanomachy, this epic clash between the old gods and the new, wasn't just about thunderbolts and earthquakes. It was about generations locked in a battle of pride, fear, and strategy. But what if I told you the real weapons weren't swords or magic, but something much more familiar? Let's break down the secret forces at play. First, cognitive rigidity. The Titans ruled for ages. They were kings of the world, set in their ways. They believed their power was eternal. Sound familiar? Like a boss who refuses to update their methods or a parent who clings to the old ways. Second, generational psychology. Every new generation finds the weak spots of the last. Zeus and his siblings weren't just rebels. They were evolution itself, programmed to outthink their parents. Third, coalition building. The Titans fought alone, each in their own fortress, trusting only themselves. But Zeus, he built alliances. He united the outcast, the overlooked, the rejected, turning them into his strongest weapons. But there's a darker current running beneath all this. What really doomed the Titans wasn't just their stubbornness, it was their fear, their paranoia, their refusal to change. And that's where the story takes a turn. Let's walk through the drama step by step. Kronos' fatal mistake. Kronos, king of the Titans, learns a prophecy. His child will overthrow him. Terrified, he swallows each newborn whole. But here's the catch. Acting out of fear makes you predictable. Kronos' paranoia became his prison. He never saw the deception coming. Rhea's quiet rebellion. His wife, Rhea, watches in horror. She doesn't fight him head on. Instead, she tricks him, swapping baby Zeus for a stone. Kronos, blinded by routine, swallows the rock, believing he's safe. Zeus, the outsider who learned to lead. Zeus grows up in hiding, away from the toxic court of the Titans. He learns collaboration, not domination. He listens, he adapts. When he returns, Zeus doesn't just charge into battle. He studies his father's weaknesses, his guilt, his paranoia, his isolation, turning trauma into motivation. Instead of fighting alone, Zeus frees his siblings from Kronos' stomach. Now every god has a personal score to settle. Their trauma becomes their fuel. But Zeus isn't done. He releases the Cyclopses and the 100-handed ones, the very beings the Titans feared and imprisoned. Imagine opening your doors to everyone your enemies rejected. Suddenly, you're not just a leader, you're a revolutionary. The Titans' downfall. The Titans, meanwhile, cling to their old ways. They fight alone. They expect loyalty out of fear. But fear is a brittle shield. The gods, united by hope and shared pain, fight with a purpose the Titans can't understand. Would you have sided with the Titans, holding on to what you know, or with the gods, risking everything for a new world? So, what's the lesson here? The Titans lost not because they were weak, but because they couldn't change. They let fear rule their choices. They built walls instead of bridges. Zeus and his allies won because they adapted. They turned pain into purpose. They welcomed outsiders. They believed in something bigger than themselves. We all face Titans in our lives. Those old habits, those fears, those voices that say, it's always been this way. But the story of the Titanomachy reminds us, real strength isn't about holding on. it's about letting go, learning, and building something new together. So here's what we can do today. Think about one Titan in your life. Maybe it's an old belief, a habit, or a fear. Ask yourself, am I fighting alone, or am I building alliances? Am I stuck in old patterns, or am I open to change? Try reaching out, asking for help, or simply listening to a new idea. And if you found a spark of insight in this story, hit that subscribe button. Join us on Myth and History Teller as we uncover the hidden truths behind the world's most powerful legends, one myth at a time. Remember, the future belongs to those who dare to change. See you in the next epic.